Welcome back to the I Jupiter podcast. I am your host, Tom Franklin, and today we are talking with Mr. Mark Savnik, all the way from the country of Slovenia. If you don't know what that is, if you're a basketball fan, the Dallas Mavericks has a great player on the team called Luka Doncic. It's a very small country. I lived in Germany, not that far away, maybe, oh no, let's see, we had to go through Austria there. Let's see, maybe 6 hours I could have driven there. Anyway, he's a UFO experiencer as well as researcher, and he reached out to me and said, "Hey, I want to talk to you about some stuff." And we kind of talked behind the scenes about a couple things and what we're going to do with this show and whatnot. If you have some ideas, if you have not ideas, if you have a story, an experience, or anything you want to talk to me about, you can reach me on Facebook. You can reach me on my email, which is the iJupiterPodcast at gmail.com. It is close to Christmas time, guys. If you want to get yourself some merch, boom, go down in the description below. You can get yourself a hat, a t-shirt. You can get yourself a poster. What else? I got a coffee mug on there. Just perfect timing for the Christmas spirit. You want to talk about UFOs with your grandma and give her a mug at the same time. That's what we do here. You can also find me over on Rumble. You can find me on Podbean. You can find me on Spotify. Go over there and subscribe to the channel. Leave me maybe a review, a remark, a reply. Go ahead and share the video, anything to help us expand so we can reach our magic goal of 1,000. Hopefully by the time this video has come out, I've already been there. And if not, we're still going to keep going anyway because that's what we do. So with all that out of the way, let's please welcome to the show, Mark.
Hello.
Howdy. How's it going over there on the other side of the world?
Well, we have shitty weather, but we believe in aliens. So let's go.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Before we start, tell me a little bit about yourself and where people can find you. This guy
right. So I'm the same age as you are, which is year 80, the best possible year.
Yeah.
44 is the number, yes, sir. So Slovenia for sure. And I've been a special child, let's say that. Special, not in the brilliant way, but everything was really happening for me and for my family, my broader family. And it was a lot of weird stuff, from ghosts to UFOs from the young age. So just to give you a brief encounter, we had a ghost in a mill that my aunt was renovating. We were there every summer, and this ghost, I was too young to really know what ghosts are, and this ghost was playing the we say harmonica, the accordion, I believe it is, and also walking around and just being present all the time. That was one experience that happened many nights, in a few years span, and it was very real to us, very real to me. But I just didn't know how other people feel. Now I know that there are many believers, experiencers, and also many people who just don't really know what to do with this topic. And then the UFO experience, we were walking, me and my aunt, who really didn't believe in much of anything, but she just believed in what she saw, right? And we were walking and just kind of close to us. So within a quarter of a mile, half a mile maybe, so 1 kilometer I would say, is this mountain that we saw every day. And there was a object just above it, very still, shimmering in the sun. And I was about 7, and for me it was maybe an airplane because I didn't have a reference. But now looking back, I know that it was weird that as an airplane moves, this was still, totally still. And we knew how the mountain looks, right? We were there every day, watching it every day. And this was this was not there usually. So this was the only day we saw this. And it was a cigar shaped. Also, disc is cigar shaped if you look at it from the side. So maybe it was disc. I don't know. but it was for sure above mountain, very still. And my aunt said to me, what do you think this is? And I was like, I don't know. And then I looked at her, and it was very obvious that she was seeing this on a regular, semi-regular basis. This was not new
Wow.
to. Yeah, and I have a lot more, but maybe if you want to ask something.
Yeah, we in the green room before we started, we were talking about not shaving beforehand. You got your coffee. I just finished mine. You're coming home from work. I'm getting up to do the podcast, but I stayed up late last night, so I'm a little tired. Car's at the car shop right now, and the mechanic is buzzing me with a whole bunch of pictures. I don't know what to see that. What's that
Okay,
afterwards? I told him
okay.
I'd be busy right now too. So I was like, you were like, you said you kind of mentioned that you were a soldier, and then you said
Yes,
something that, well, I was like, okay, let's go ahead and kind of start with that. Could you maybe explain what you told me or what you said to me?
yes. So for all of us to understand, for all of you watching, and also for you, Tom, I've had so I'm 44, and I've had experiences that I consider clairvoyant, which means, if I'm correct me if I'm wrong, that you foresee the future.
I think that's correct. Yes.
Yes. And they just, these events showed me what's going to happen, either in a picture way or in a more sort of knowing, all encompassed knowing way. I just
Mhm.
got it somehow, and I understood everything, the what's going to happen, how it's going to happen.
Like
And
a kind of like
this
a precognition kind of thing.
precognition, yes. And but and as my life progressed, I remembered at certain junctures in my life, I remembered, not before this, these points in my life, but just as they were happening, I also remembered some things that happened to me when I was younger. So one of these was a test that I was meant to do, and this test determined whether or not they will take me in a sort of a military something something something. When I say something something, I am an empath, and I have a feeling. I did not confirm this through memories or any other way, but I have a feeling that my role was not just a soldier, but also to determine whether the whole situation, what the my colleagues or our enemies or whoever was with us in the situation were trying to do. And this part was clear to me. So the empath part, and also that this test occurred for me. And so the puzzles are coming together with age. And so you've never heard of Corey Good, right?
No, sir.
No. And there are several, then Jason Rice, and there's at least 10 plus US still alive soldiers that claim uh, that they were part of the spacefaring soldier group from planet Earth, which means they visited other planets. They had super cool weaponry, exoskeletons. And so Gaia did couple of, this is Gaia TV, did couple of interviews with these soldiers, right?
Okay.
Just like if they would interview you and me. And they did test for the if you're lying or not. So lie detector test, maybe even 2 times. And they did hypnosis, or like a meditation state where you go back, and maybe a person in the room helps you to remember more, and so on. And they did a lot of these episodes where they explain what was going on. And as they explained this, right, Corey Good, Jason Rice, and many others, what the exoskeletons look like. I'm just gonna give you the gist of it. Have you watched perhaps Halo, the movie series? No.
No, I don't really watch many movies, and I don't play video games so much. I
Okay. So
play guitar and
the
stuff.
it, much better. Yes. So the gist of it is this: you have like a basic bodysuit that it's like a skin.
An
Uh,
exoskeleton, yes.
yes, but
I know
it's
what that is.
yeah, but you have three.
Okay.
One. I mean, two are exoskeletons. One is like a the Star Trek jumpsuit, like this thick, not much, but it helps you. It helps you sustain body temperature and many other cool functions. Then you have a light exoskeleton, which is like you can do battle with it, but it's not really for the heavy stuff. But it has armor. It helps you run, sustain space. Everything in space from heat to cold and stuff like
Okay.
this. And then they explained how the helmet worked. And in this is where it got really interesting for me. So in the helmet, you could see where your colleagues were. Let's say we're in a platoon. I could see where you are, and I could also see what you're doing. And let's say you decide that the target is that creature over there, and then we could all target that creature based on your call without even actually seeing it, right? And we could communicate through this helmet and do all sorts of maneuvers. And he explained some of these maneuvers, and he explained some, like 5 to 10 weapons, how like gravity gun and some other type of, the magnets. Actually, there are series of magnets in the gun, and it actually, if you imagine a solid object, right,
A
and then
projectile.
projectile, there's a series of magnets, and they
Uh-huh.
just go on, and as it goes forward, they propel it faster and faster.
Right.
And this was really good and really fast, and all
So
the day
like a rail gun, like a
rail gun,
handheld
yes,
rail gun. Okay.
rail gun. And I just at first my thought was, well, this is from the movie, or a
Halo.
cartoon, or game, or whatever. But the memories of kind of began that confirmed this. So basically, real life experience. So their testimony got my memories up that I've had these experiences.
Oh, so it sparked something in your mind.
Yes, and it is also like a post-traumatic syndrome,
Okay.
because there's a lot of shit. This is I don't have at this moment, regarding this topic, I don't have cool stories that happened to me, but I can feel that I'm so. To give you a real life example, I'm sleeping I think I was 20. I'm sleeping, and my girlfriend at the time is trying to this is me sleeping, and she's just kneeling on me in the tent, and she's trying to give me a kiss. And
Yes.
I didn't even realize this. I just wake up and I do some kind of pre-rehearsed maneuver against the wall, down on her. I climb on her. I do some wrist shit and something. I was like, what the fuck? She
Oh
was really,
wow.
yeah. She was really
Wow. So
scared, and I
like
was
some
like,
type
what?
of, yeah, let's say like some kind of trained muscle memory or something.
Exactly. I didn't really go extra far, like you could see it in an MMA fights, like the extra something, something, something. I didn't go that far, but it was very clear that I just waking up, I immediately knew what to do, but my brain
Wow.
wasn't there. And it was extra weird. What the fuck is this shit? So,
Mm.
24 years later, these guys have very real testimonies, very real, and they are older, even older than us. And this is how I judge stuff, right? I look at you while you're talking to me, and as an empath, I try to feel, and they really resonated. The stories and the way that they explain everything, and my memories. So doing the tests, stuff that happened to me, and so I believe, and in the future we will see if this is true or not, and we can go back to this episode of yours. I believe that I was part of this military, but the memory was erased. And this
Okay.
is also what they explain. So their memories were suppressed, and with age, they remembered stuff that they were on other planets, that they use all sorts of very advanced weaponry. So the advanced weaponry. If you want to jump in with questions, please, Tom.
No,
Just
no,
do it.
I was just thinking like maybe it's just like because in the States we call it MK Ultra super soldiers. Maybe I think you've maybe
Yes,
heard of
yes,
that.
yes, yes, yes. Oh, yes,
And
that's a very good.
I don't know much about that. I mean, I've had
That's
somebody
very good
mention it to me before,
segue.
but so I'm listening.
Right, right. That's very good. Not segue, but it's like a upgrade plus to my story. When I was
Okay.
looking at the Jean-Claude Van Damme movie, so the way my brain works is, and they explain the same shit. I was watching Jean-Claude Van Damme, Super Soldier, something movie. You remember this movie?
In the
Very old
90s,
movie.
yeah, maybe,
They
maybe.
bring them from the dead, and
Yes, yes,
they
yes. I
bring
do
them from
remember this movie.
they bring them
Kind
from
of.
the dead, and they're just amped up with some, I don't know what exactly. They're very strong, very hard to kill, and they have to keep cool and blah blah blah. And when I was watching this, I think I was like 16, maybe even less. I don't remember really which year, probably less, like 12. um, I got in my mind, there was nobody telling me anything, that this was me. And this was my experience, and this is very close, if not exactly that part of it, with not with words, just with the knowingness. And it was really weird to me. And then this, there's no further explanation. And then, nothing for a few years, and then some other stuff with some other movies, and then again and again and again. And the last 10 years, I had a lot that
Okay.
confirmed everything and expanded upon. And right now I have zero doubt for myself, zero doubt that I'm basically being contacted by, let's say, aliens, or at least advanced humans or whatever. And they're sort of giving me bits and bits, uh, so that I remember, and many others on planet Earth are remembering, or have remembered, or will remember, because we have to put our actual history together.
Okay. So you're saying there's like a lot more going on than what we're seeing. Have you
There's a
ever
lot more.
considered? Have you ever considered going to like a therapist and try to do some like memory regression or anything like that?
Yes, yes. I will, just to state this publicly. I have thought about this. I'm definitely prepared to do lie detector tests, of
Hmm.
course, based on what I know. So what I will tell you today for sure goes into that box. And the therapy. So let's say hypnosis or something. I did the regression therapy, and we did
Okay.
discover some stuff, but it got weird for me, and I didn't feel well, so we went out of it. He
Wow,
wanted to
that
go.
all that might be programmed into it as well. If you try to like tap into that box, that you have some type of physical or therefore mental type reaction to the situation, therefore it doesn't get opened. That's interesting.
Yes, you're bringing, maybe jumping even more often. You're bringing the right stuff to the forefront. I agree. So NK Ultra, I was suggested. So just watching stuff, talking to people, blah blah blah. I got MK Ultra for sure. Super Soldiers for sure, in a very similar form that the film shows, like Eyes Wide Shut, where Tom Cruise
Oh,
discovers this.
that's a crazy movie. That one I remember pretty well.
That too, for sure.
Wow.
Um,
Wow. So like secret societies,
yes,
masking,
yes,
weird type parties
ritual.
where sexual stuff may or not be happening. And
Yes,
like, oh wow, that's interesting considering like this whole, Jeffrey Epstein thing that's going on and the whole P Diddy thing going on. I'm sure it's much more out there, and we're just starting to climb the lowest rung of the ladders to get to where maybe, for lack of a better term, where you've seen or are. So you remember these things like kind of like you get like kind of a flashback when you see certain movies, or do they also like occur in your dreams or in between the two states?
Yes, all of this is true. So I have very real dreams sometimes. These are
Oh
very
yeah.
rare, but very revealing. So it's like a very good movie, but also it feels absolutely true. And let's say they're preparing me. I'm being prepared for a major shock of actual battle. Have you experienced battle?
No, not in a sense, not in that sense. I've guard
I
duty.
have. I have neither. All I've seen is a dead person up close when I was really young. That's
What, in a
just
funeral home? In a funeral home?
no, this person drowned.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I was just they sent me to fetch the doctor. But as I
Wow.
was experiencing this, sort of, let's say my guidance, let's say my soul, my higher self, I'm not sure what to call this, said it was like a feeling. The feeling was try to feel this person lying on the floor, and there was a sort of there's nothing there, and as I tried to feel, it was really empty, the body, you know at 7 years, maybe even less, 6, maybe even 5, I think it was 6. And they're teaching me, they're teaching us they're teaching us
Hmm.
what is really going on, and they're sort of developing my remembrance system, and also crushing down what I think was true and bringing the actual truth to surface.
Right.
And I have to experience this.
I think we're all experiencing that on some in some level. So you're saying they were telling you to like kind of put yourself into the empty vessel? You know what I mean? To like to take your the duality, the soul, or whatever that may be, and put yourself into something else to get you
No,
ready for battle in the future?
no, that's sort of very interesting, because there's a connection there. No, they just I was being guided to feel whether this person is present or not, but the essence,
Okay.
the soul, the energy, and it wasn't there, and that meant an empty vessel. Of course, I had no concept of that at that age. I didn't really know much, right? So it was interesting that they presented this. This going into other bodies, and actually what this that you can watch online, Corey Good, Jason Rice, and many others um, explain, is that the some of the races, including our own, have progressed so far that they can actually, when you die on the battlefield, or you are severely injured, if you're advanced enough, you can actually leave the body and find a pre-prepared vessel for yourself, and just re-enter combat. And that for me was like, wow, that's a cool science fiction story, but also
Right.
it totally resonated with me. So for me, the very interesting and revealing part is some stuff which sounds totally wild, and I've never talked to anybody about this, really resonates with me. And it's so wild that I wouldn't this is grasping for straws for me. It's like a very far reaching possibility, but
Okay,
still
I got
I
you.
cannot, yeah, I cannot deny that it's so real.
Right.
It just somehow from beneath it comes an
Right. Right.
understanding
I've
that
had to kind of maybe like connect with you on a level. I've always felt, I think maybe I don't know, maybe it was in my early 20s. I distinctly had a distinct feeling that I am not from here.
mm,
Like, this is my home. I love it here, but I'm not from here. I don't know what that means, but I just remember just looking up and just going, I'm not from here. So, like, it's like you were saying, grasping for straws. It doesn't make any sense. If you say it to somebody, they don't know what you're talking about, but it's a very innate and deep and profound feeling within yourself. And when it
Exactly.
happens, it's kind of like you get like a little bit of you get a little anxious because it's so real that it actually bothers you a little bit. But at the same time, your rational mind is trying to go and like just take it down a bit, relax. This is not what's happening. You're just thinking this is not real. But feelings and emotions sometimes are very real. And that the thing that you were saying about it being an empathic person, I have been sometimes to a detriment too empathic, where I feel somebody's energy when they come in, and I can say to them, "Hey, what's wrong? I can tell that you're not having, your energy's off," which is the new lingo. But I would say you're having a bad day, or you're doing good. Yeah, tell me about your day. And then most of the time, I would say 99% of the time, I tend to be correct. So it's cool sometimes, but it can be very burdensome sometimes as well.
That's why I connected you, because I feel this in you, and I also feel that it's very important that we are broadly, our interests are broad at this moment. The information spoon that we use is as big as possible.
Yes.
And I don't like, the, how do you say, the friendly approach, in a sense that you're interested in everything and you just allow the universe to show you what's real to surface. I love that.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with being interested in everything that interests you. Whatever interests you is what sticks in your mind. That's how people learn. It's not because you get to sit down and remember and then spew it out on a certain day when they ask you to do so. Like real interest equates to real understanding and real learning. And it was a long night, but yeah, it's very interesting that when people find interest in things that are not seen as being quote unquote normal, that it is off the beaten path, off the mainstream, and that's where people come to shows like this one and others to make that connection. And I think that's in the end that's what we're all trying to do, is make sense of whatever this is, because that we're like these beings of flesh on a planet that's supposedly a sphere. Hopefully, we don't know. We still don't know exactly, because I've never been up there. I'm not sure. I'm not a scientist, but we're trying to make sense of our of whatever this is, existence, consciousness, and I think like these slightly, like you were mentioning, these slightly advanced races kind of have that next understanding, or are able to use that understanding to change things. And I think you are probably experiencing that. And I think other people, I've heard it before. I didn't know. I had to speak to a friend of mine and go, "Do you know about this?" And he was like, "Yeah, I know about this, this, that, and the other." But what do you think they're doing that for? Why are they? There's a long rant to get to a question, I suppose. But what are they preparing you for, or us for?
Yes, that's I think the
It's the big one.
blow your
Yeah,
mind.
yeah.
Yes,
I'm
yes.
taking out the samurai sword, and we're going to go and just slice right to the heart of the situation. We'll get back.
Excellent.
We'll get back to all the, all your experiences and your concepts and ideas and other things and other experiences you had. But I'd love to like just pick your brain about what you think is happening.
I agree. That's let's go.
Yeah.
So, Dave, maybe a few months. When I say day, I mean I've got this message, and I get message from different. So my soul, my higher mind, and let's say other races. I'm not very good at this yet, so I don't really know exactly who, but I can see by the energy signature if they are benevolent, and of course later, and
Benevolent.
in
All
that
right.
moment and later I can see what happens. So then I, do in my little box a checkbox thing. Okay,
A checklist. Yes.
that was good, actually good,
Okay.
or that was not the best or whatever. So um, I had the big ones, the big how do you say that I got it told in advance? How do you say this?
Precognition.
Is there no better word to describe this? So the bigger precognitions that I had. Okay.
Well,
Okay.
I'm not really. Just because I'm a native English speaker does not mean I'm an expert, my friend.
No, the precognition thing is like I have a feeling that I mean, US, native speakers sure know this, but all of the others, like me, precognition is like, what are we talking about exactly? Basically, I got told in advance some information, and this information turned out to be really real. And yes, so I've got a few months back, I got the information that by the year 2030, um, uh, several races, well, let's just say this, aliens will land, or something so big will happen regarding extraterrestrial races that there will be no doubt
Wow.
on planet Earth that this is real for all of us, not just
Wow.
for a couple of beings.
Okay.
And this was huge. This was huge, and I immediately went like, well, why is nobody talking about this? If why am I have no platform, I have no what's going on, what's the logic behind this? So I went to check, and there was a CIA. Maybe a very good thing is that whoever is watching this or will watch this, you can ask in the comments, and me and Tom, we will make sure that we answer you, right?
The
And I
best we
can,
can.
everything that I'm saying now has a basis in a video interview that I think is very credible. So this CIA guy, I don't remember his name, online interview in a podcast like yours, basically confirms this. So that the year 2027, he plainly confirms this year is considered all over the planet by the governments, the date that they have. And he says the same thing that I did. Something will happen, they will either land or something big will happen, and
The
they
word is.
have
The word is. I'm sorry to cut you off. I finally got the word. It's called premonition. That's
premonition.
the
It's
word.
still a
Premonition.
okay.
Like it's like you're getting information about something that hasn't happened yet. It's something in your brain that's been like given to you. It's a premonition. I'm sorry, man. I was sitting
No,
busted. I'm
no.
listening. My brain. I was just like, what is that word? Being a native English speaker, I should know the word premonition.
Premonition. Okay,
Yes.
good. Premonition.
Yeah.
And yes, nice. And
So
he
sorry.
no, go jump in. The input is good. And he's saying this. I've got this. Then I also watched this other channeler Bashar, and some other channelers that I resonate with. And we know what channeling is, right?
Yes, yes. I have
Yes,
somebody
yes.
who wanted to to channel the Bell Witch. So just a different kind of channeling, but yes, I do know what they are.
Bashar channels alien entity, and this other lady channels Pleiadian High Council, which is human-like
Yes,
people from
yes.
Pleiades, so several planets there.
Kind of like the
They're
Nordics or something.
they're different Pleiadians.
They're different. Okay.
I mean, sure, you can say they look similar, blonde and so forth, but Nordics, as far as I can remember from the online
Remember.
information,
Oh,
no,
okay.
from the online information that I've gathered, they're taller, and Nordics don't look as much similar to us as the Pleiadians do, as far as I remember. But to go back to this, so these two channelers say the same thing, and it's like a big announcement because they've done this channeling for 20 years, and they've never done this type of big announcement before. And this CIA guy says that, as far as he can say, in the government, this FBI circle, CIA circle, sorry, is this was said on a very high level that the year 2027 has this not just potential, but this is the date. So in the year, just to give a small recap, in the year 2017, Louis Elizondo, chief for the Pentagon UFO program, came out of the government, said basically, this is a short version, they don't know what they're doing. I'm gonna tell what's really going on. And this is the year, 5 years later, he says, do something for 5 years. Everybody will know about all of this stuff in 5 years. So he also confirms this in his own way. And the clock has started in 2017. That's what I want to say. So it was 10 years, and it's like what we are almost 25 now. So it's like two and
Yes.
something. That's very close.
Yeah.
That's very close.
This reminds me of a story or an information that I've heard about from a project called Project Looking Glass. I'm sure you've maybe heard of this. Project Looking Glass is where the government, the U.S. government, they have some type of way to look into the future and make predictions about what's going to happen by changing things in the past. So that's where all the changes we're going through right now is part of that. And they realize that the project is now discontinued as far as I understand. And they were saying that no matter what they do now,
they always say this. That's very important.
Yes,
Sorry.
maybe changed, it has a different name.
Yes, maybe they just do it anyway. Continue.
Yes, and no problem, man. They were saying that no matter what it is that they're changing now, they can change certain things, but there's something that is going to happen that they're unable to change. And maybe this is what you're referring to. It came into my head as you were talking about it.
Yes. So we are in a state of liberation. Basically, this is what I came to believe and let's say know, that we are in a revolution state for the planet Earth, for the for a very long time, and we are, let's say, winning. And of course, I feel that this is very long. Why are we winning so slow? What the fuck is going on?
Okay. Excuse me. I hate to interrupt, but winning means there's two opposing forces. What is the opposing
there's
force
many
in the
more.
human race?
Yeah. So the gist of it is that we have many races. We have interacted with a couple of hundred of them. They are formally saying with at least 22 that are all interested in us, in our genetic material, and are tampering with us or helping or not helping, so being negative towards us, and they're very present. And the negative ones were in control, and they're losing this control. We have negative. Yeah, you've never heard of this?
No, it's just I've heard of it, but I just like to hear it again. See, like you're building up this story, which is great. You're doing a great job, dude. You're building up this context. You're building a base, and you're saying things that I know, that I feel that there is something on another plane, because I don't think they're nuts and bolts as much as they are interdimensional. This is my opinion. I don't know. I'm a fence setter on this, but this is the way I lean, and that these entities do things like, try to confuse us on our orientations, whether it be, your genetic makeup, they try to put you in your five senses instead of expanding your third eye, and try to keep you dumb down the masses. And if you don't think that's true, then look at the media I would say since Roswell, and definitely since the Kennedy unlifing event that happened in the 60s. I think ever since then that the actual, the largest government in the world, the United States, has been infiltrated and taken over. Then you also have what Eisenhower was talking about, where they went down Project High Jump, and he made some type of treaty with these entities, saying like, you can't do this, but you can't do this now, but we'll slow feed them, or try to protect us. So there's a lot of things that you're saying that is not that I haven't heard them. I just haven't heard them in quite that, in that formula that you're saying.
Yes. I'm really happy that we see it. Our, our
Similarly.
realities are very aligned. um, so if you want to say something, say. You wanted to say something?
No, it's just
No?
no, I didn't want to say anything. I was just trying to add what you were saying to give some context to what you were saying about also, just kind of interjecting my understanding of what I've seen, Like it's been a lullaby. You know what I mean? It's been kind of, the music has lost all of its meaning. It's all like the same beat, the same BPMs. The words have gone from, I don't know, maybe you have 150 words a song to maybe 10, and it just repeated, and people are like, "This is good," and I'm like, "No, it's hypnotizing. We're under a mass hypnosis that we are waking up from." So you're saying one way, and I'm just saying another way. Now, who would then be the ones doing it, and what is their purpose? So, is it some type of powerful human who wants more money and control? It's weird because I wouldn't think so, because somewhere along the line you have all the money and power, and then what else could it possibly be? So if there's an all evil in the world, so that's what I've come to understand within the last 5 years, especially ever since the COVID stuff. There's an all powerful evil in the world, then there must be an all powerful good as well, which has also kind of pushed me closer to God, not Christianity, but my own understanding of it. But it's all kind of, you can look at it through a spiritual point of view, and you can also look at it through the point of view in which you're trying to present here today. But I do think they're not, mutually exclusive. I do think they're kind of like they're an overlapping magisteria of sorts. So it's like we are saying the same thing, but from two different angles to get to some type of understanding of what's going on and why we are experiencing such a difficult time. There's a lot involved in that too, whether it be social media and everyone's seeing everything at one time, and our brains are not, evolutionarily set up to have so much information about everybody all at one time. So therefore, like, there's a parsing that we have to do. Then you have the algorithms. There's a lot of weirdness going on, and but to say there's some type of plan involved, I do agree with that.
Yes. So the perfect. What all that you've everything that you've mentioned, perfect. I agree with everything. Music is very important. I've also done events. I also love to dance and so forth. And I've noticed this. And I've also always been watching the how easy or how difficult it is to, let's say, have fun, to have a beautiful life, to just let's say flourish, to be invigorated every day and so forth. And you are right, we are being, like you said, in put in a coma, in a sleep and so forth. So this is changing, and I'm mainly interested because people will want evidence when they wake up, to understand at least part of what we're talking about. They will want to see something that they can say, oh really, this is really, like COVID. When you wake up from COVID, even if you are still a non-believer, I give them maybe a few more years. They will, most of the 90% that were on the other side will go on this side. Something's off, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
Right
they
now
will
it's denial.
also,
Right now I think it's intellectual denial. It's like, how was I tricked? Which is like, hey, we love you. We love you. You know what I mean? These people
that's the hard one.
who
That's the hard
yelled
one.
at you, because I didn't do it. That's why I'm here in Mexico. You know what I mean? Like, who yelled at you and told you you were, unlifing your grandmother and all that stuff. Remember, we still love you, and we want you to be with us in this wake up. We want you to be with us. We have to project love, guys. We really do.
That's very I agree. That's very important. I think that's the most important thing, what you just said. Towards everyone, if possible, which is kind of hard.
It's difficult,
And
yes.
so, yeah, and difficult. So to intertwine all of this that we are explaining and talking about. So the former defense minister of Canada, Paul Hellyer, now deceased, has explained in front of committee and journalists and cameras and blah 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 that we have contact with at least 4 alien races and have had contact for some time. And Hashim Hayat from Israel and many others saying the same thing. Basically, they're confirming within the last couple of years that we have contact with alien races. And what Paul Hellyer also explained is we are, even as a country, he was looking at how to get Canada out of debt, and it was not possible. So the whole system is rigged, not just on our level. So one home, one family, but also on a bigger, higher level, which is, let's say, a country. And so what I was looking as evidence was this: how many of the popular or high importance people are actually talking about what we're discussing right now, what I consider truth, and are still alive, not like Kennedy, but actually alive and actually still operating. So still, let's say, in the momentum, still doing things. So not completely stopped after one conference and then nothing for 5 years. And there are many, I'm happy to say. Of course, you have to look for this, like you have to find Tom, right? And we are the eye of Jupiter. You have to find your podcast. It's not easy to find it because the algorithms are blocked. But so if we look at the evidence, there's people from positive side of the military, just in the US, we are talking just the US now, that are coming forward, the scientists from well-renowned universities, so doctors, professors, and they're all saying what I'm saying right now. So we have contact with several races. We've had governments have known this for many years, and what they're not saying, because I think it's too much right now, not necessarily that they're guiding us the wrong way, but maybe it's really too much. They're not saying what you're saying. So just to reiterate, go back a little bit, we have Louis Zondo, so the former head of UFO department in Pentagon, whose book is out now, and he says, yes, we have Cabal, which is a group of people controlling the Earth that are very negative.
Yeah.
Yes. So this is what also Paul Hellyer said in this open statement, open conference. So former Canadian defense minister. This is all online. I can give you links.
You can send me all the links, dude. That way we can put them in the bottom.
Yeah.
That way people can go and do their own research, of course.
Yes, we need to do it because, it helps. It helps seeing all these people, because when they explain, you see what did they go through to actually arrive at these conclusions. You can feel it. It's a huge thing for them. You can also feel that they have to be fucking here and now, aware, present, to just confirm this and address this. It's a lot. And what he says, and I think this is really, really, really fucking important, is this. He says, so Paul Hellyer, right? He says, we have to give amnesty to all of these perpetrators. So let's say the most evil ones who are beyond redemption, which for me means they will never, because they've done so much evil stuff, they will never just, oh, we're sorry. Yes, here are the keys to everything. We're so sorry. Because they know that people will kill them or something worse will happen, and that's not a way to do it. But if we want to get it over quickly, for sure, faster at least, is amnesty. So allowing them to live, and of course take away all their power, of course.
To get what over? To get it over.
The
To get
control
what over?
of certain aspects of planet Earth.
Okay, the cabal. Mm-hmm.
Yes. So you have alien races that are negative. You have leaders of the world, and just between those two are the cabal. I would say still humans, but definitely not in the public eye. People usually
Okay.
say Rothschild,
Right,
BlackRock company,
right.
and
The
there's many,
Illuminati,
many
all
more.
those. If you know of them, then they're not the ones up
Yeah,
and up on the top of the pyramid.
yeah. And if you just do this is what is funny for me. If you just do a basic check on what they're doing and how they're doing, it's like for an educated person, it would probably take a couple of hours at most to figure out that this is the true state of the affairs all over the world. The
Mm-hmm.
hard problem with COVID is this: when you realize, oh shit, not only I've been lied to, but the people and government and doctors and everybody, lawyers, and all the fucking power that I've trusted is not on my side. First big one. The second, even bigger one, is probably, how the fuck did I not see this? You know, how is it possible that I'm so blind?
Well, the first one is very hard. The first one is definitely harder than the second one. The second one, I got the answer to that one. It's called forgiveness. You need to be able to forgive yourself and remember that people like Mark and I and many, many, many others, we love you and we understand that manipulation is a real thing. Why do you think MK Ultra exists? Why do you think these Operation Climax and LSD trials and all these things? Why do you think the sweeping act in the 1970 Drug Act in America, where you can't even take psychedelics, which are considered worse than cocaine and things like that, because they don't want you to be able to open your mind and expand your consciousness and be able to take in the information that they don't want. So when that happens, I came to that conclusion slowly. I do think September 11th, just on a personal level, September 11th.
September 11th,
Okay.
2001.
I was in the military. September 11th. I was in the military, and I was just
2001.
I just seen a video the other day. 2001.
The Twin Towers. Yeah.
Twin Towers.
Oh, that's the day you came to this. Sorry, that's the day you came to this conclusion. 2001.
Well, there was always something. There was always something. Yeah, it was, dude. You don't understand. Like the American lullaby is so much stronger than the European lullaby. You have to understand.
Yeah.
Europe is
because
many
stronger.
different countries. There are many different ideas and languages and cultures in a small area. But when you have such an overarching large country with a large government that can be so powerful, it's very difficult. So September 11th was then made me went, oh, the moon landing. Oh, JFK. Oh, the first time. Iran Contra. And then it went, oh, then another big one, it has to be on the list, is the Vegas shooting. That was crazy.
Yeah.
And everyone's like, and no one questions. And we're getting there though. We're getting there. I think COVID was I think what's happened, these people who want to be in control, who are either forced to be in control, because you're talking about amnesty, they messed up big time. First of all, they let the internet out of the bag and didn't realize how powerful. They thought it was going to be websites and email addresses. That's what they thought it was going to be. And then it turned into whatever this is now. And at the same time,
they were sorry, they were completely aware of what they were doing. Yes, there's a couple of layers. I'm going to interrupt you because this is very important.
Go for it, please.
There's a couple of layers. So the layer that you're describing now is absolutely true. And certain levels of, let's say, world leadership, I don't want to call them CIA, FBI, cabal, or whatever. Let's just say world leadership will confirm what you're just saying. And then there's another layer of the leadership, and this bottom layer that will confirm what you said is not aware that there's another layer of leadership beyond them. And this layer that knows more and is more involved with the extraterrestrials is completely aware what they did with the internet. And they always had a plan.
Oh.
Completely.
So they're trying. So
there's
you
no
see it as a positive thing. It's what's happening is going to be very positive.
so yeah, the negative side had the plan with the internet. They knew what they were doing, and this ties well with what you said when you said. Well, I'll remember it later, but
Mhm.
the program was to get you to a state of where you don't really know, and it's
Mm,
hard to confirm in any from any source, and that's why you default to the, let's say, Google, CNN,
right. It's like
blah
George
blah blah.
Orwell. Like so, it's an Orwellian idea, Orwellian concept where like there's so much disinformation. Which did you see? Did you? I don't know. If this is going to be in the middle of December, like the second week of December when this comes out, right before Christmas, guys. But did you see where I just seen where Trump's idea where he's going to take all these internet sites and everything where they now fall underneath like free speech. So that's I think that's a step towards whatever we're going. It just popped in my brain again. He said that they're circumventing the Constitution of the United States and free speech to then connect with government entities to then therefore use words like misinformation and false information, and that's all going to be done. That's supposedly going to be fixed. And that, to me, if that's the only thing he gets done during this term, whatever you want to guys call it, whether you're for him or not, if he gets that done, that's a big thing. That's the biggest thing.
I agree.
Sorry,
No,
tangents.
that's fine. So there's two poles that were on the higher echelons of, when you've mentioned before that they see in the future, so they have this, whatever it is, technology, let's call it, who
Mhm.
understands the future possibilities, future timelines, and that is part of the truth for sure. So the positive guys and the negative guys were aware of the power of internet. And the cool thing about all of this is every negative big thing has also a cool exploit inside, so a positive exploit, let's call it. And of course the negative um, you know output of internet is enormous potentially, but you cannot deny that there's so much positivity inside whatever we're doing now, for sure,
Mhm.
and tons of
Suppressed,
other
but
stuff. You can't and this is this is there's always plans within plans, is what I'm trying to say. And there are timelines, and let's say we are on a very positive timeline. So how do I know this?
right.
Well, how do I confirm
I
this
was going to
for
ask you.
myself?
Yeah, I was going to ask you. Yes.
Which is very important, right? Is exactly this. If you look at all of these big events, what exactly happened with it? So if you look at 9/11, the Twin Towers, are they right now there's so many stuff surrounding this that is basically allowing the mass consciousness to wake up that it was actually a hoax. And then of course from this knowing that 9/11 was a hoax and it was set up, you have to understand what they wanted. And there's a couple of pointers that you've sort of mentioned. First, they did a really shitty job, the negative ones, with 9/11, and they're doing a much. It's unbelievable how shitty job they did with the COVID. It's like everything's full of holes, and still people sort of believe it. And after COVID, they started panicking even more, which is if you're looking for signs that
It's a good
actually
sign.
something,
Got you.
yes, yeah,
Got you. I know what you're saying, buddy. All right, go ahead, man. This is great. Keep going. That's great.
you have to, you can't deny this, because if they're in control, and they want to be, that's very clear, they wouldn't panic, they wouldn't rush things, they wouldn't do such enormous mistakes, because just as you can see clearly on the street, too many people are waking up just from these tiny, huge and tiny mistakes. And this is just a no-go scenario. You just don't do it. You don't allow people like Paul Hellyer and Trump and Elon Musk and so many others to live. You don't, or you just make sure they don't talk. So you know what I'm saying. This is
Yeah. No, I got you. We're going around algorithms. I got you, buddy.
So I'm looking basically this at this. Okay, so they're panicking. This is very clear. You have to
Very
be,
clear.
I would say, quite stupid to not realize that, or at least very, very ignorant. And you have to be trying really, really hard to not look at this. It's
Hmm.
really weird to me how people don't see this.
We
But
have to
okay,
understand this too, man. We have to understand this too, man. The lullaby is what I'm calling it. The lullaby is seductive. It's seductive.
yes,
It's very seductive. I'm trying to watch something on YouTube, for example, that's really interesting about Mayan civilization or COVID or whatever it is I'm looking for. And right at the beginning of it, it's a commercial about Doritos or something. You know what I mean? It's kind of they're looking at the lullaby, and when I see it, like I don't want to look at corn chips right now. I'm trying to enlighten myself. So the lullaby. So we can't be. I don't think the word stupid is the right way to go about it. I think it's just like it's strong. You know what I mean? The things that are embedded in you as a child. It could be a simple concept like racism. You know what I'm saying? If you grow up in a racist family and in a racist area and you don't realize that we're all the same, then it's got a deep root in you. When you pull that root out, it hurts a bit. And some people are just afraid to take that root out. They're afraid. They know the root's there. They got the shovel. They got the pickaxe. They're getting all the tools. And one day when they rip it out, it hurts. The truth at the beginning hurts, but then it's liberating. You know what I'm saying? So they're not stupid. A lot of it's like, I don't want it to be true because I want to live this world in which they've created for me, but it's not the truth. The truth is much, much, much more deeper than that. It's much more empathic than that. It's much more loving than that. And we're working our way to it. We're working our way to it. So I wouldn't
I
blame them at all, actually.
I agree. You've said it beautifully, and I totally agree with you. It is very, like you said, lullaby. It's very entertaining. It's very
Mhm.
nourishing the
It's
right
intoxicating. It's
side.
intoxicating.
Intoxicating, yes. I agree. I fell for this many times. I fall for this every day. I think more or
Oh, we
less
all do.
many times. I would say for sure. But let's we have to give these people, including ourselves, really really serious slap right now. And I'm talking, yeah. We fucking it's a really really hard one, Wake up right the fuck now.
We love you, but we're gonna do
So
it's like there's tough love. Maybe you're going through tough love. You grab them by the lapels, you grab them by the collar, and you say,
yes,
"Wake up, we're here, we're here." But they're coming, man. They're coming slowly but surely. My mother
God,
even turned around and
yes,
came and said some stuff.
yes,
My mother
yes,
was like,
yes, yes.
"Oh, I'm with you, baby." I'm like, "This is my mom." You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So it's coming. It's coming.
yes. And so we're talking. So let's say this is all the people that have the capability of doing this, and this is the getting to the understanding that we are talking about right now. What the actual fuck is going on?
Right.
And there's no cover, but there's an actual segment that is outside of this box, and I'm talking about these people that are outside of this box and are choosing to go back in. So they were outside and they choose to go back in. These are the forerunners, including you and me, and these people have to do it now. Why?
Mm-hmm.
Because there's nothing else to do. Basically,
Mm.
that's the truth. There's nothing else to do. There's nothing else to do. And you have a chance, like in Matrix, to go back to sleep and to have a very very boring life, or you can choose the fight, which is, let's be honest, it is a fight, like you did going to Mexico and many other stuff, and I did my shit too. And this is
Everyone who's seen it did something.
yeah. And there's a lot of things we can say about this, and I've had very traumatic experiences
Yes.
that go into this box of getting out as well. But as I've said, there's nothing else to do, and to be totally frank, we have to do it. We have to be part of this or we die. And when I say die, I don't mean in a sense that our life ends now, but we just go back into the nothing really happens box, which means we are here, but we are really dead. It's like like you could only, you know what I'm saying. So the life
Yes.
experience is so much more, and we are basically actively deciding to go back into slavery, to go back from where we fought to come out of, and just
I don't think it can happen. I think it's too. I don't know, to put a positive spin on it. I think it's an improbability at the moment, not impossibility,
yeah,
improbability, which is a much
exactly.
stronger word. I don't know how well your English is, but like it's become too obvious where like even people on the streets are kind of like you'll. I call them like what do they call them, like non-player characters. You know what I mean? Where they're just kind of like
NPCs.
they just kind of I wake up in the morning and drink my coffee. I eat 3 times. I take a shit and I go back to bed.
Yeah.
I think like say when I first started waking up around 9/11, maybe it's like maybe 2%, 5%. Now I think it's on the order of about 30%, which is great, which is great. And I just don't think they can. I don't think they can close the box. I don't think it's impossible. Like music is a big thing. I don't know if you ever heard the song from a band called Perfect Circle. It's called Disillusioned. Look at that song. Look at the
Hmm.
video to that song. And when you hear that song, when I first heard it, I don't care. I fucking cried, dude. I was like, that's
Right.
it. This
Yeah.
thing right here. This thing right here. This is a cell phone. Oh, that's cool. It's got
Hmm.
a reflection. That right there is the silicone master, but it's both. It's a double-edged sword. It can open your mind and close your eye, but once in a while you need to set that down, put your back to the ground, and he says this and reconnect to the resonance now. You were never an island, a unique voice among the many in this choir. Like we need to reconnect to each other. That's the situation. That's all their game plan is. Rich, poor, black, white, Arab, religion, social status, uh, political leanings, what shoes you wear, what music you listen to. All of that is to divide you. Not and we all know it. We all see it every day. And I think we kind of see the game. And I think like the more you grab hold of people and as you say, shake them out of bells, wake the hell up. That's one way of doing it. But there's another way of doing it is by setting the example. You
Yeah.
set the example. Like I'll give you an example. Here's something that happened to me this weekend. I get invited to a party, right? It was weird too, dude. So there's a comedy community here, and one of the ladies who her boyfriend runs the party, she was having a birthday, and we were going to go over there and roast her. I wasn't going to roast because first of all, I don't know her that well. Second of all, my language isn't up to snuff. But they were like, "There's only one rule is that you have to dress up like a clown." I'm no fucking clown. I'm a comic. I am a clown, but I don't dress like a clown because I think it's a mask to hide something. It's just like a feeling. I don't like clowns. And I was like, I took it as a half joke. I got there. You couldn't even tell a party was going on. So I got there with my girlfriend and my daughter, and they're watching a piano concert projected on the wall. It was like some Eyes Wide Shut stuff. And they're
Hmm.
playing this piano, and everyone's dressed up like a clown, looking at each other. And she's like, "Hi, the makeup room's over there." And I'm like, "What do you mean?" She's like, "Yeah, it's a clown party." I'm like, "I don't want to do that." She's like, "Well, then you have to go." And I was like, "Bye," and I left. And so there's it's kind of a microcosm. It's nothing wrong with being yourself, man. There's nothing wrong with being weird. There's nothing wrong with individuality. You know what I mean? As long as you don't step on other people's individualism, but at the same time, shaking people by the lapel, sometimes tough love does work, but you have to be able to empathize with the person, read them, understand who they are, and kind of slowly try to just show them who you are as a person. And then they'll eventually start asking questions. And when they ask those questions, because you can't just be, like a normie, like say you and me back in '95 when we're watching the Powerpuff Girls, whatever the hell we're watching, and hey, the federal government, or what's it called, the federal the Federal Reserve is actually owned by 8 separate private banks. You can't do that. It doesn't. It's like what? Hey, the Earth may be flat, maybe, and you're like, what are you talking about? And but that's a whole different subject. But you can't start like that. You have to start with, "Hey, how's it going? My name is Tom. Hey, my name is Mark. How's it going? Hey, what are you interested in? Oh, I like astronomy. Cool. Let's go out and look. How many constellations can you name? Hey, the ones that doesn't flutter that are really bright? That's an actual planet. I've had a telescope. I've looked at Jupiter. I've looked at Saturn. I've looked at the moon, and like slowly like try to open and see, because there's a lot of people who are not ready for that. There's a lot of people who can't. There's going to be a lot of people who left to the side. There's like two worlds at the moment. There's the ones that we're talking about, and there's the ones who are not. So I'm sorry,
Yes.
please. I'm rambling.
No, you're not. You're not. You are on point, as always, definitely.
I love
So,
all of that.
yes, that you understand, and the people watching and the people who will watch understand. In my country, there is like 2 million people, and we are a sort of special country. We have huge success in sports, really, really unbelievable, and science and shit like that. So there's something happening here. And I've done experiments. I've been on the national television in the prime program, like 60 Minutes, and other programs. And I've been on the national radio and podcasts and shit. And I've done the biggest YouTuber in Slovenia, so forth, all about this topic. What's actually going on in the world, but through the lens of UFOs are real. So this is my opening, and this is very much happening. The UFOs are real. And when we begin to talk about this and about phenomena that you like to discuss, then we can get to everything else that we are talking about today. And what I've seen so far in live lectures as well that I've done several, I've seen that people that are just out of this box. You were talking, for me, you were right now talking about this box that is still that needs this approach that you were describing. What I'm talking about is the box that, let's say, you and me are in, that is leading the way, pushing the way. So it's an
Mm-hmm.
outer layer, and it goes. Let's say this is the actual truth of everything, and this layer that needs to lead is sort of going out and back and out and back, because this experience is needed, because you have to understand everybody here in order to really have a conversation like you just described, because there's no way that you will reach them if you are not empathic enough to understand where they're coming from. And
Right.
you have to respect the process. You have to allow the process, which for someone will be they will stay here, for someone maybe 2,200 2 years, whatever the process will take. And that's fine. That's fine. And this is also exactly what the aliens are doing. They're allowing us our time, right? And it
Right.
is very, very important that we do the same, but also very important because they're definitely not being, they are gentle with me, but from a standpoint of, let's say, normal life, I would say that I'm completely overwhelmed. There are
Right.
periods that are better, but this is definitely not. This is like a state of emergency, much more than it is a state of peace and harmony. My experience. And so the this group that I was talking about, where we are, you and me, we need to talk and, let's say, figure out how to do this. This is what the CIA guy and all the other people who are saying 2027, these channelers and so forth, are not discussing much. And it's basically this, I think. Um, how what to do, where to start. And what you said is very important. Talk to each other. I think that's the fundamental layer, right? Talk to each other. But then there also has to be the initial truth on or understanding of the universe that has to resonate with all of the leaders. And this is where we are being helped by all these races that are actually helping us. So there's a certain number of people. Some say 100,000 and 44,000. So 144,000 people plus that are, let's say, ready with these galactic codes that will, transform faster to lead the way. And what this brings is you basically have to do it now, because not just that there's nothing else to do, but the timeline for this is here now. So to give you let's say prime example, if you have to choose waking up everybody to the reality, you personally, you can wake up everybody to the reality that you know is true, or you leave them completely unknown and they will do it however fast they will do it. You're basically
Right.
choosing how fast the world will go to where you want it to go and where you believe that we will all have a better experience. So that's why it's sort of urgent. So to just finish this huge philosophy,
Yeah.
we are very tired. Maybe you don't feel tired, you personally, but I see this, that this group is very tired, and we have to do this to get help. To get help from this box, there's many here who
Mm-hmm.
are willing,
Mm-hmm.
and they will come forward to help in however they can. And also by doing this, just by us talking right now, we open to the help from all of the frequencies, because this
Mm-hmm.
is the primary thumbs up from the universe that we get support for this channel, for the topics. This is how you see that you're on the right track. This is basically the confirmation that we all seek.
Yeah.
And
That you reached out to, the mere fact that you reached out to me. I don't know how you found me. Like, maybe you can disclose it. How did you even find me?
So I look at many channels, creators, and then I just basically was looking for someone that is in the right state of mind, and open and kind, and maybe even strong enough, blah
Well,
blah
thank
blah,
you.
to be
Uh
yes,
huh.
you're welcome. To be I've had many people that I've talked to. You can understand, and you probably know how this goes. Even if they had the best intentions, even if
I know it's coming, but you're gonna have to say it anyway. Go for it.
even if you have the best intentions, you just end up somewhere, which is fine, I guess. um so to give you okay, it's too much coffee. You know when you watch let's say comedians, that's a perfect segue. There are certain ways of comedy and certain types of people. I've watched some of the let's say the black guy that you've sent me. Can you say his name?
Patrice O'Neill,
Yeah, I think that guy. So there are, and
big fat guy,
George
big fat
Carlin.
guy.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
George Carlin. Let's go
George
with George Carlin.
George Carlin.
I'm
Let's
much
say
more
these
versed
two.
than George Carlin.
Yeah. But let's say George Carlin, because most of the people will know, or they can see
Recognize,
him,
right?
what he says about religion, the world government, and shit like this. This is
Right.
how I see that a lot of people open up to everything that is going on, right? And when I
It was
look at
my
people to talk
it
to,
was my jumping off point. It was my jumping off point was George Carlin. That's the truth.
yes, yes, and I
The
was
actual like starting to question everything. Like, this guy's making a lot of sense and being very funny with it too. It was incredible. Yeah, check him out, guys.
check them
Wow,
out for sure. You can watch the small stuff on the internet, the small bits, not the full shows, but I recommend the full shows as well.
full shows.
So I was, because I've done so many lectures and interviews and reaching out to the audience, I always check what the reception is, you know, and I always do this. I'm probably very good at this. It's hard to measure. I do many feedbacks of everything, and re-listening, revisiting, blah blah blah. and I'm trying to see what people, how they react, what they were more receptive to, what they were less receptive to, and
Wow,
I'm
that's being
mainly
empathetic.
interested in these people. And I was just searching because these outside people like you and me, they're, they don't really need my help because they're even further than I am potentially, or whatever. They're fine, more or less. Maybe they need a kick in the somewhere, but
In the pants,
like
in the
I did
pants, in the
sometimes.
pants. We say kick in
Yeah,
the pants.
but these guys who we are here for, so the majority of the planet that will at some point wake up, they need the right approach, let's call it a different approach, an interesting approach. And I think that the comedic way of George Carlin, to just give a example,
Right.
and then whatever we're talking about here, go hand in hand and just resonates with people. And so I was searching for the whoever we talk to is sort of making the energy whatever the energy of the conversation is, and then it can be more or less or different. And this is what I
It can
was
resonate.
searching for.
It can resonate with the people who are searching for answers. Because when you were talking there, I was trying to say that too. That you're using the concept of the box. I have a box. You have Slovenia, and I have Mexico. This is called lighthouse cigarettes. Faros,
Oh,
which is
lighthouse.
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 Yes,
Lighthouse.
there you go, lighthouse cigarettes. Yeah. When someone what happens is that somebody will start asking questions. They're going to start talking to you, and this happens a lot. People are going to start being interested in what you're interested in. How do you do your music? How do you do whatever it is? Where do you get your inspiration from? And then when they're able to get to the area where you start pushing, like not pushing, but kind of guiding them to a point in which they start like getting freaked out by what you either kind of know or at least understand, that we always have to make sure that there's a basis of being grounded in humanity. Because that is, I think I love what you're saying, but there's a point in which we have to remember to saying that we are all one and we're going to be okay. We're going to be all right. Whatever this birth canal that we're going through right now is very difficult. But on the other side, there is light. And like you were saying, the end of your breathing life is not the end, because we do have our progeny. You have children, I have children. And that's what we're looking for. We're looking not just for our children, but for everyone's children, because we are you in a different body. So when we take these people and start opening them up to these concepts and ideas, that we have to make sure that we ground them with each other first, because if not, it turns into something else. Then he turns into the Alex Joneses of the world. I'm not saying Alex Jones isn't necessarily a bad guy, but if you look at Alex Jones and he's you can't even process that if you're just starting to open your mind. It doesn't work. You have to parse out what he says. But if you're not even where we are, you and I can do that. We can go, he says, the frogs are gay. Well, what he's actually saying is that there's plastic contaminants in the water that will actually change the sex of frogs, which has been proven. You can also look that up as well. But if you say the frogs are gay, that doesn't do anything. It doesn't ground you in humanity. It doesn't ground you and make you remind yourself of where you come from. We come from something much more powerful, much more ancient than we can ever imagine. So make sure that we do, my opinion is that we do both at the same time. Not hold the hand of the people, but say, we're here if you need to fall back on us. But at the same time, you being human is enough for me to keep doing what I'm doing. You know what I mean? It's great. It's like an ever widening whirlpool of whatever this is that we're doing on this show, as well as others that I enjoy watching.
Well, that you said
old
it
philosophical
beautifully.
Tom.
I have to. No. That was perfect. I mean, the best I could do is just to repeat your words. That's perfect. What you said is exactly the truth. Yes.
Okay, brother. Okay, so we're kind of agreeing on some things. We just have two different approaches, but then we can speak about it is very important as well. So the philosophy.
I usually take your approach. Yes, I usually say the stuff that you're saying. if the other person is more like I am right now. So I just
Perceptive.
tend to empower the so there's power and love, right? We need both. And I would say that what you're describing is the most important aspect, but the action aspect, let's say the power aspect, is very much needed, and people respond to this,
Mm-hmm.
and
Well,
they
everyone does their
respond to.
part too, buddy. Everyone
Yeah,
does
yeah.
their part. You're doing your part by being on this show, and your part is saying, "I want to do it this way." I'm not disagreeing with you, but you're going to do it your way, and you're going to reach the people the way you reach them. And everyone does their. As long as everyone's, I think, doing their part, whatever it is. I'm just a medium. I'm just an information collector and provider. I'm just a person in the middle who kind of directs the traffic the way I see fit. You know what I mean? So I know what you're saying. So I'm not taking it as a slight whatsoever. And please don't think I'm slighting you in the way you're doing. Everyone does their part, and however they get to it and helps is what's in the end actually is the big goal.
Oh, I don't. I'm completely where you are, at least based on what you said.
Oh,
I don't see how you don't see that.
whoops.
Uh, yeah,
Whoops.
what I'm trying to say about Alex Jones is that there is people respond to this power that he is presenting because
Mhm.
they want to do something, and that's why we have to figure out, us that are on the cusp, on the forefront, vanguard, if you want to call it. We have to
Mm.
figure out something that is grounded in humanity, just like you said, in love, and also in power, empowered maybe.
Yes.
And people will follow this, the right type of people, of course, and then we can actually do something worldwide. Because without that, and I've seen this, all of this, let's say, people who consider themselves alternative, like you and I, how would you describe this? I don't know.
Alternative
um,
media.
yes, all alternative healers, uh, they're at each other's throat too. And this is where I was surprised many times, that the big ones are also not, either ufologists or whoever, really are really not
Oh yeah.
collaborating as much as I could hope for.
No. No, it's dog and pony, crabs in the bucket. Trust me, in this part of the field, I've seen many upon many I know a dude. I'm not going to mention his name, but there's a dude who does like Howard Stern type stuff. He's got a certain level, and then he starts like talking trash about other people, and then claims to be a good Christian man at the same time. That's incredible to me. That's it's the antithesis of what it means to be Christian. You know what I mean? To preach
Yeah.
the gospel and then smash others who are also preaching the gospel, and they smash one another. And it's so goddamn frustrating. And it's like, you have a platform to do good, because at the beginning, the dude was incredible. And then it got to a point where it's like, I'm standing, and it's just goddamn stupid, dude. It's just so
and
goddamn. It does make me angry, but I try not to let
and
it.
this is no,
It's
this
hard.
is perfect. And I'm watching, again, on what I'm watching. So Alex Jones, Joe Rogan, you,
Mm-hmm.
many others, small,
Mm-hmm.
big one, medium ones.
It's so
Yes, I
weird,
mean
dude.
this.
When you say me, it's so weird to me. You understand? Like when someone goes, "Oh, I've had people who I started a podcast because I watched your podcast." What are you talking about? Just that makes no sense to me. Just don't tell me those things. It makes me feel weird. I don't like that feeling. I just want to do something
what what
that's
there's not a
meaningful.
lot of difference between, let's say, for me, between you and Joe Rogan, who has been paid 100 millions for 1 year from
Reportedly,
Spotify.
reportedly, I think it's more like
Yeah,
200.
yeah,
I'm
of
sure.
course there's a lot of money on the back end from everything. I
Right.
don't really care. A lot of money is what I'm saying. A lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
We could have half of that and we would say, yes, we can do 1 month for that money. Well, but what I wanted to say is this. Um, so I watched all of these guys, including you, and ladies. And ladies, of course, come on,
Yes.
and ladies, let's go. And in retrospect, so Martin Luther King and many others, they were,
Gandhi.
basically cut off or somehow, usually not JFK and so forth.
Right.
And this
Right.
is not happening right now. This is very, 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 very important,
It was close.
right?
There was a close
If we
one. There was a
look,
close one recently.
which one? Trump,
Yeah.
or who?
Good or bad?
Yeah.
Good. Yeah.
Well,
Good or bad?
let's agree on two things.
Good.
It helped him.
We
Yes,
agree.
it helped him in many, many ways. And if you just look at the event, and let's say it's true. I do not want to debate at this point if it's true or not, but let's say it is true. What happened, what we saw happen, actually happened for that reason that we saw.
Uh-huh.
It's a proof of actual bad side and actually
Yes.
the other side, or sides that are less bad or even good potentially.
No disagreement on my behalf. Whatever it may
And we
be,
need that.
it's good. It's going towards a goal. Like,
Exactly. People wake up. Yeah.
yeah, it's a very. I don't, whether you like him or not, no matter what happened. Even Rogan looked at his ear and said, "Yes, there was a mark on it." And I believe Rogan. He knows what ears looks like when they wrestle, so he knows. Whether you like him or not, that's not the point. Whether you like his policies, who he is, all the stuff they say about him, I don't care. But for someone to get shot and then stand up and pump a fist in the air and say fight, that's a bad motherfucker in my point of view. I would be looking for new shorts. I'd be crawling around, crying, snot bubbles coming out of my nose. I don't care who you are. That was pretty crazy.
I have to be honest here, just
Okay,
to
be honest
let's
with
say
me.
compliment you and many others who are, let's say, watching. We all have this strong-willed aspect in ourselves that he has shown, and I'm sure you do. So when I was, just as a transparency thing, when I was faced with probably 100% in my mind that scenario, I still went into the water and tried to save two guys, one of which was my student in my scouting class, Boy Scouts, and the other was co-scout leader, so my colleague. I I'm not that crazy usually, not even close to that brave, because I knew when I was getting in the water that I can't come back out, but I did it. So this is what I'm trying to. So us talking together and you're just collaborating gives us more of this gist, and this is what Alex Jones, for example, is good at. This is what Joe Rogan also brings to the table, and here within lies the power right now. And what they said for Trump, these channelers, and I, let's say, feel this, is that he is a trumpet. So he brings everything to light. There's almost no bullshit in him, or he's very transparent when he's lying, which is totally the
No, I just love that wording right there was beautiful. Please, you understand? I love like phrases. That's really funny.
I mean, he's the complete, the best possible McDonald's scenario. If you want to show the world how shit McDonald's is, just do whatever he's doing. Just do that. He's the best version of everything. He just shows you, because there's no hiding in what he's doing. Whenever he's speaking, there's no hiding. It's everything is there in the open and nobody can deny it. I love it. And so I was wondering about what your goal for this transmission is.
My goal for this transmission is to get it out there. I mean, what else could it possibly be? It would be to talk to somebody, to have a discussion about something that maybe all the details I don't know, to find some common ground with you, which I think we found in earlier phone calls that we spoke on. I think it's to draw people in, to make them feel like they're part of the conversation, to make them feel like they're not alone, to make them realize that they're not the only person who thinks that way, and to get it out as best I can. Although you were telling me you had some stuff on the side we were talking, I just I have to get to that. It's just very busy. I'm super busy. Trying to run a show that has what you're telling me, the implications of being some type of world moving type, idea, which is, thank you. But there is real life implications in my life, having a child and bills to pay and things like that. But the whole reason to get this out is that people see it. That's it. To see it, to not feel alone.
So what I'm really good at is I see where people fit. So that's my special ability that I was not really aware of. I mean, I was aware of, but it was really brought to the forefront by whoever I talked to. I don't. Like a therapist session it was, and
Dealing with the cold.
so it's like, did you say? What did you say?
I'm dealing with a cold.
Oh yeah, me too. Yeah, me too.
I was over coughing and all this stuff. You keep hearing me hit the mute button and all this, the cough.
Me too. So I have this gift that is very usable now, which is I can see where people fit in, what they're good at, and what they're bad at, and I can position them within an organization. And if you look at a planet as a living organism, I'm able to see where you fit in, and for sure, without any doubt, you fit in really, really well into, let's say, a better version of host. So I was really, let's say Colbert, let's say Jimmy Dore, let's say Joe Rogan, Alex Jones, Jimmy Kimmel, and so forth, which I all like, even Alex Jones, in a way, of course. But
I like Alex Jones more than I like Jimmy Kimmel, but sure.
Well, I've disliked them a lot. I'm getting them to like them much less through the years, because I've seen that they're really a propaganda piece that I was not aware of in the beginning.
Exactly.
And I was so disappointed in Colbert, in Kimmel, in everybody. Really, really, really disappointed.
But that was with those dancing vaccines. Remember that shit? Those dancing vaccines? Wow.
Especially Colbert, and especially the veteran guy. He's really dear friend who has the Mondays now instead of Trevor Noah. Can you help me?
Oh, yeah, Jon Stewart.
Jon Stewart, yes. Also Jon Stewart. I mean, I was if nobody else, God damn it, Jon Stewart, and at least to a point Colbert. But no. So Jimmy Dore, I don't know who else in the comedic circle is actually at least more or less on point. You have the capacity, because you have to have the necessary component, which is high consciousness. These guys just don't bring it to the table. You understand? They're too far in the system, or whatever the reason is. I don't really care at this point, but they're not bringing it. Neither Trevor Noah, and I can dismantle everybody. If you give me like an hour or two, a pre-prepared program, I can dismantle everybody. It's such a shit show. And these are the guys that I consider far better than, let's say, CNN or any president or anything else, really. And they have fucked it up to a point that I would consider them not even relevant anymore. Potentially like a smidge relevant. That's it. You see what's happened. If this is the actual space that we need to occupy with information, with actual information about what the fuck is going on in the world, they have totally dropped the goddamn ball, and they're fucking here. They're here. Everybody else is, we don't see them, right? And this, my dear friend, we have to occupy this space. We have to, because we are sort of guided to, and also because it's fun, and also because there's nothing else to do, and I think primarily because you want to do it. And people will respond. And this is what I've been measuring. This is, if you ask me, Mark, is this something that is potentially, a gold mine? Let's say a gold mine. I would say yes. Look at all this space. Look at all this space. There's nobody here. Everybody's just totally lost it. All the credibility, all the everything. And this is what I've seen. And just, just more and more and more and more of the information is just, confirming this. And I can't believe that nobody's seeing this. Nobody in the big leagues is seeing this. It's weird for me. It's like, I don't consider myself that smart,
No, but that's the side of intelligence. Do you understand? Like, to know your capabilities and to know your limitations is to know. But you also have to check your ego too. You always have to check your ego. It's so hard. But if you've been, because I don't know what you've been through in your life, but I've been through depression, anxiety, and a lot of kick yourself in the pants. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't do that. Or like, I do think like psychedelics have done that for me. That's why I got the mushrooms behind me, is to put myself outside of myself and to look back at myself subjectively, not objectively, subjectively, as if other people were to see me. And that's important as well. And they don't have that. They don't have that.
And this is what they will follow organically. Nothing else, because they're totally losing all the trust that they still have. The ounce of trust that they still have, they've lost. They just don't know it yet. And this, what you're explaining right now, everything is directly intertwined with the innate trust that connects with you on the fundamental level that you need to bring to the table. It is necessary. Nothing else will resonate.
Well, all I can tell you guys is go ahead and share this the best you can, or find any, if you're enjoying what it is that I'm doing and that Mark is coming to my show. Are you going to be running a show too?
So yes, we've done in Slovenia. We're doing the start now soon. It's sort
you
of.
You should do English too, man. You should English too,
yes,
because you reach a wider audience. With your message is important. And if you
yes,
ever need me to come on, let me know.
Yes. For English, yes. For English, I would definitely like to have, like Jimmy Dore has a co-host, and I'm definitely looking for that. Or at least, you can have several co-hosts for several different, whatever. But I think it's important.
The hell's his name? The hell's his name? You talking about the big bald guy, the funny guy? I can't think of his name right now. The host of Jimmy Dore.
Yeah.
Kurt
The
Metzger?
co-host. Yeah, exactly.
Kurt Metzger. Yeah, he's funny as hell. I love that guy. He's actually.
Yeah.
I knew him 10 years before I knew Jimmy Dore, so that was interesting. Yeah, okay.
I don't really enjoy that much what they're doing, the way that they're doing it, but I see a huge potential in this, huge untapped potential.
So that was Mark. A lot of interesting concepts and ideas to be explored about the whole situation in which we're confronted with. Like I always beckon it to a birth canal that we're going through to get to the other side. When we get there, who knows what's going to happen? But the thing is, I think you have to be right with you first. You have to be right with you. You have to be right with your community, with your family. So don't be afraid to do that. It's very important. At the end, I think that's my underlying message: is to be okay with yourself and to love yourself in the most non-egotistical way that you possibly can. Make sure you check yourself. Make sure you love yourself. And remember, we are the eye of Jupiter. We are aware. Love you all very much.